wet or loose sand can be engaged. So, right, it's actually really easy to drive. It's nothing like the kind of tractors of years ago. I think the bit that catches most people out is the fact that there are 3 gear levers instead of 1 that you'd have in a car. Maybe if anyone's got a Jeep or a Land Cruiser or something, you might have 2. So there's just 1 extra one in this, which we'll explain. First of all, the only thing we need to worry about really this is we just use a tractor obviously for towing and just pulling here. So a lot of the other implements that would have been on the tractor, hydraulic lifts and stuff, have been taken off just because they're not required. So there's not a huge amount to get worried about. I'll just hop up, and if you like, you can move in a bit closer to the cab. We'll just go through the basic controls. You can open, this. You can open the back windows, which can make it a lot easier to talk to people if you're reversing, and also you can see the hitch there as well. If you're reversing back or you're connecting the hitch to the trailer. There are lights, so if it happens to be very late in the evening, there are headlights and there are all the usual navigation lights on the tractor. It's a key start, the same as your car as well. Clutch pedal on the left. Brakes are these two big pedals that are locked together on the right, and then there's also an accelerator throttle pedal here on the extreme right. There's a hand throttle here, which is kind of like the boat, which you don't really need to use. It's much easier for our usage just to use the foot throttle. That's really for, if you're using the tractor as a farmer for ploughing, something where you need a constant engine speed while you're driving it in a long straight line, that kind of makes sense for the hand throttle, but in the use that we use it, it's not necessary. The steering column is a little bit adjustable there for whatever suits your staff. There are indicators down here if you want. There's also a horn there if someone gets in your way, and really the rest is just I think the gears are the main thing, and then it's just using it forward and back. So the gears, first of all, it has to be out of gear or it won't start. So if it's in gear now, so if I go to start and turn the key and nothing happens, basically there's a safety switch, which means you can't do that. You have to take it out of gear. Even if your foot's on the clutch, it won't start until it's out of gear. That's a safety feature. So main gear lever is on the right here, and you'll see it looks very much like a gear lever you would have in a car. It's a 4-speed gearbox, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice there's no reverse gear on it, and that's purely because this gear lever is really just engages the different speeds. So it's first, second, third, and fourth in both forward and reverse, which we'll come to in a minute, which is kind of a little bit different. There's a second gear lever here on beside my left thigh, and that's marked 1, 2, 3, and N. This is the range. So again, there's 1 is very, very low. It's crawling speed. Again, probably too slow for most of what we're doing, unless you want to do something very, very slow on the slipway. We want to move it at literally a crawling speed. It's really, again, if you're ploughing or something and you want, a rotavating or doing farm work, the tractor is designed like that, so you can have the engine revving hard but in a very, very slow speed. So it develops huge pulling torque, to pull a plough. The second range, number 2 range, is kind of the range which for moving around the yard or for moving even on the slipway is okay. And then number 3 is really the range for moving fast on the road. So that gives you its full speed. So you use both of these in combination. So you need to set this gear. If this gear lever is in neutral, where it's marked N, then obviously the tractor won't move. You need to select one of the ranges. So for instance, range 2 is probably the most useful one here in the yard. Then you select a speed with the gear lever, whatever you think, first, second, third, or fourth, whatever. And then the third gear lever is the left-hand one. This shift here on the column is a bit like what you get on an American automatic car. And this is your forward or reverse selector. So when you have a gear speed selected and you have a range speed selected, the next thing you do is select whether you want to go forward or reverse. So the other gears apply equally at the same speed, whether you're going forward or reverse. It depends on what you've selected here. This is the one that the safety lock operates on for starting the engine. So until this is in neutral, which is the center position, the engine won't start. So typically, probably the same as you do with a road car, when you park the tractor, you apply the handbrake, but you'd also leave it in gear. So the last person has probably left it in gear. So if you turn the key and nothing happens, it's probably this that you need to bring back to the center position and then try again. And there you go. The handbrake, which I mentioned, is kind of, it's kind of in an awkward position, and it's a small little brake. It's right back here, kind of on my left side behind the range. To be honest, it could be longer. It's quite a short, stubby little handbrake. I'd say when setting the handbrake, especially on the slipway or something like that, that you press the foot brakes, to help the handbrake lock properly. It just seems to work better than that because it doesn't have much of a range on it, so you kind of need to pull the foot brakes